In the heart of Jerusalem, where the sun cast its golden rays upon ancient stones and bustling crowds filled the narrow streets, there sat a blind man at the city gates. His presence was a familiar sight to the townsfolk, a figure often met with pity or indifference. His name was Eli, and he had spent years in this place, his hands outstretched, pleading for alms, his eyes forever closed to the world around him. The sounds of laughter, the clatter of sandals against cobblestones, and the fragrant waft of spices from nearby stalls were his only companions, each day blending into the next, a monotonous rhythm of existence. One morning, as the city stirred with the promise of a new day, a palpable excitement coursed through the streets. Whispers of a man named Jesus of Nazareth, known for his miraculous healings and profound teachings, swept through the crowd like wildfire. People spoke of him with awe, recounting tales of the blind who had seen, the lame who had walked, and the dead who had been raised. Eli, though blind, could sense the shift in the atmosphere, the buzz of anticipation that crackled like electricity in the air. As Jesus approached the city gates, a throng of people surged forward, eager to catch a glimpse of the healer. Eli, sitting quietly in his usual spot, felt the vibrations of the crowd's energy and turned his head slightly, straining to hear the conversations around him. The sound of footsteps drew nearer, and he could feel the presence of something extraordinary. Suddenly, a voice broke through the din, curious and questioning. "Rabbi," one of the disciples asked, "who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" The question hung in the air, laden with the age-old belief that suffering was a punishment for sin. Eli felt a wave of shame wash over him, a familiar weight that pressed down on his heart. But then he heard Jesus' voice, clear and compassionate. "Neither this man nor his parents sinned," Jesus replied, "but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him." Eli's heart raced at the sound of those words. There was a purpose behind his suffering, a reason for all the years spent in darkness. He felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. Then he sensed movement as Jesus came closer. He felt the gentle touch of hands upon his face, and a moment later, he could feel something cool and moist being applied to his eyes. "I am making mud with the saliva," Jesus explained softly. "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam." Eli's heart swelled with wonder as he absorbed the command, a simple act that held the promise of transformation. With the help of a bystander, Eli navigated the bustling streets toward the pool of Siloam, his heart pounding with anticipation. Each step felt monumental, each moment stretching with possibility. He reached the pool, knelt down, and splashed water over his face, the coolness refreshing against his skin. As he rubbed the mud away, he could feel something shift within him. The world was about to reveal itself in a way he had never known. When he finally opened his eyes, the brilliance of sunlight flooded his vision. Colors danced before him, vibrant greens of the olive trees, the warm browns of the earth, and the shimmering blue of the sky. He gasped, overwhelmed by the beauty that surrounded him. For the first time, he saw the faces of those who had passed him by, their expressions a mix of shock and joy. Eli stood up, his heart soaring, and proclaimed to the crowd, "I can see! I can see!" The response was a cacophony of disbelief and celebration. Some people laughed, their faces lighting up with joy, while others squinted skeptically, questioning whether this was truly the blind man they had known. "Is this not the same man who sat and begged?" they murmured, their voices laced with doubt. Eli, overwhelmed yet emboldened, affirmed, "I am he." But the excitement was short-lived as he was soon brought before the Pharisees, the religious leaders who scrutinized every aspect of life in Jerusalem. They questioned him relentlessly, their faces stern and their voices harsh. "How were your eyes opened?" one demanded, a hint of anger in his tone. Eli recounted the miraculous encounter with Jesus, describing how the man had made mud and healed him. "Jesus is a sinner," one Pharisee declared, shaking his head in disbelief. "He cannot perform such signs on the Sabbath." Eli, however, stood firm in his testimony. "Whether he is a sinner or not, I do not know," he replied. "But one thing I do know, I was blind and now I see." The Pharisees, frustrated by his unwavering conviction, continued to press him. "What did he do to you? How did he open your eyes?" Eli felt a surge of courage. "He put mud on my eyes, and I washed, and now I see." The simplicity of his words resonated in the air, a testament to the profound change that had occurred. In that moment, Eli recognized Jesus not merely as a healer, but as a prophet, a man sent by God. The realization filled him with a sense of purpose, an understanding that his suffering had led him to this moment of revelation. Later, as Eli wandered the streets, still reveling in the vibrancy of the world, he encountered Jesus once more. Their eyes met, and Eli felt a warmth envelop him, a sense of belonging and acceptance. "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" Jesus asked gently. Eli's heart raced at the question, and he replied eagerly, "Who is he, sir, that I may believe in him?" Jesus looked at him with kindness. "You have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." Eli's heart swelled with joy as the truth settled within him. He fell to his knees, overwhelmed by the grace of God that had transformed his life. "Lord, I believe," he exclaimed. And in that moment, his understanding transcended the physical realm. The healing of Eli was not merely about the restoration of sight, but a profound awakening to the spiritual truth that God's grace is available to all, regardless of their past or circumstances. In the bustling streets of Jerusalem, amidst the noise and chaos, Eli had discovered a new vision, a sight that opened not just his eyes, but his heart to the love and purpose of God.